Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estela.
And welcome to
Cafecito.
and Crime. So today we are going to, I don't know if have we been to Oklahoma before?
I don't know.
But today we are going to Oklahoma.
Okay.
And this one's going to be, it's going to be sad. It's going to be a sad one. And I do want to have a disclaimer for this one.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty sad. So, and another disclaimer that you'll probably cry.
Oh.
Yeah, it's one of those again.
Okay.
So
Thanks.
we're going to Lawton, Oklahoma. So if you would like to join us to go to Lawton today,
Go ahead and grab your cafecito.
and let's get started. Like I said, this is going to be a bad situation and it has to do with children. So if you don't want to hear about
Yeah.
children being hurt, then go ahead and you can listen to another one of our pods. That was me.
That doesn't involve children because we have other
Yep.
episodes that involve kids.
Yep.
My next case involves a kid.
We'll be fine. Okay. So the fun, interesting, random fact of Lawton is that it averages 21 days of 100-degree temperature.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. You would think because it's Oklahoma, it wouldn't.
That's
but,
not a lot.
Well, 100 days of
For Oklahoma.
21 days of 100-degree weather or above each year. And the year 2011, the summer will go down as the hottest. 2011 was the hottest in, I guess, history of Oklahoma.
For that city? Or
For
the
that
state?
city, it
Okay.
shows that their average high in July is just slightly under 96 degrees at midnight.
Oh, shit.
At midnight. Like here, at least,
Baja 90.
Baja 90, But yeah. Another thing is the Lawton. Oh my God, my
So,
my
how do you
twang
say
came
it?
out. Lawton.
How do you spell it?
Lawton.
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 But I sound country. Lawton. Well, it's home to Fort Sill, Sill, a military installation that has a rich history dating back to the late 1800s. Fort Sill is currently used as a training facility for the U.S. Army.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And it's also, one small one is that, we always have to have our geographical, fact, is that it is located in the heart of Tornado Alley. So it has known for high frequent tornado area. Yep. The Comanche Nation is also headquartered in Lawton, and the Comanches are the Native American tribe that is stationed in this area, or that's their tribe. I guess I don't know how to say that. And this is all according to the Oklahoma Daily News.
Okay.
So we're going to Halloween.
Okay.
Okay. So Halloween night of 1977.
Excuse me.
A couple, Rose and George Carpenter, along with their baby girl, they had actually just moved into the area there in Lawton. And there was a lot of Native Americans. They were Native Americans themselves. And
What was their name again?
It was Rose and George.
Okay.
Carpenter. And as we learned in the random interesting facts, that's why a lot of the families that we're going to be speaking about are Native Americans.
Or that's where they live, like
That's
that
where they
area?
lived, yeah, in that tribe area. George and Rose had their baby girl, and her name was Nima Louise Carter. Nima was intelligent, according to her parents, and she was not scared of anything. She was okay with climbing things, being everywhere. She would climb out of her crib, and she would actually hide in cabinets, and she liked to do all of that and scare her parents. So she actually learned to take the drawers out of the gabinetes de la cocina, and she would stack them up para subirse.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, she was one of those.
Oh, okay.
So, pero,
Girl.
yeah, she was having a good time. So she would play hide and seek and things like that. So her parents were kind of used to that. The next morning from Halloween night of 1977, which was November the 1st, a normal day, they get up, George gets up, brushes his teeth, Rose is in the kitchen, and they're getting ready to start their day. The day before, they had gone on a date night. George and Rose would go out a lot or often because they believed in having their alone time, which
Right.
I appreciate that because
it's hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. So they would leave Nima with,
Sitter?
babysitters at times. So back to the morning of November 1st, George is brushing his teeth in the restroom, and Rose goes up to him and she says, "Where's the baby? Have you seen the baby?"
Oh, shit.
And so then he's like, "No, she's in the crib." So they start looking for her. They look everywhere. Once again.
How old is she again? 2?
19 months. So she's like a year and a few months.
Not even 2.
Yeah, not even 2. From a couple of things that I heard, it sounded like they had slept in the living room.
Cuando
llegaron, porque llegaron tarde, whatever. And so they just stayed in the living room, se quedaron dormidos, and that's where they had slept on the couch. So I'm not sure if that's true or how much of that is true, but I heard it in at least 2 places where I read. They both, like I said, they had no idea where she was. They start looking everywhere.
I'm sorry, but don't you usually, let's say que sales, whatever, you leave your kids with the sitter, you leave your whatever, ¿verdad? Pero once the sitter leaves, don't you be like, oh, I'm just gonna go peek in my head to see the kid, right? Don't you sometimes do that?
Well, yeah,
you do that.
I do.
You've done that.
No, definitely.
Especially when they were younger.
Yeah, when they were younger, and I mean, her being a baby,
19 months.
Yeah. So George and Rose, they start looking everywhere and everything. They start looking out the windows to see if maybe there was an unlocked window, and she was nowhere to be found. They go outside. They start screaming Nima's name, and they couldn't find her. So they actually start looking at the back door, and they're like, well, let's see if maybe she's in the back, because they had a dog. So they even looked in the doghouse. Like, they looked everywhere, and they did notice that the back door wasn't locked.
It was unlocked.
It was unlocked. And then they had like a fence thing, and that was opened as well, which they don't know if it was already opened but that's what they were at right now. So they call the cops.
Yeah.
And the cops come over. They start investigating to see what happened to Nima. And they gave a description of what Nima was wearing. She was wearing a red t-shirt and a diaper. That's it. She wasn't wearing pants. She was asleep. So they they said that they saw her. They actually put her into bed at 11 p.m.
Who?
The parents. So they came home, and then I guess she was still awake, and they put her to bed.
Okay, so whatever I said earlier, nada que ver.
No, because they said that they put her to bed. I don't know if they said that they last saw her at 11 p.m. Did they put her to bed, or did they just go in you said and see? They said that it was 11. So they do remember that Nima cried in the middle of the night. And she was crying, and they heard her crying, but they thought she was like just wanting attention. So they ignored her.
So they let her cry it out.
They let her cry it out. So you know how they say que para que no se pongan chiflados and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So la dejaron llorar.
Okay.
And so the problem is they don't know if maybe that's the time where
somebody was in the house.
Was in the house.
Do they remember what time, or they just figured it out la madrugada?
It was in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
You know, y estás cansado, and you just don't. I mean, they had drank a little or whatever, and they were. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
The investigation starts. So they start questioning everybody around the baby, and the parents obviously were first to be questioned, and they took them in, and they did start asking around to see if anybody knew a lot about the family, and everybody's like, no, they're awesome parents, they just have a baby, and not sure. I mean, they just had full-time jobs, and they would get tired, and they like to go out. I mean, there was nothing wrong with that. They did take a lie detector test, and they passed it. I mean, there was no problem with that. So then they wanted to continue their search. So I believe Nima's aunt, she put like $500 reward to see if anything could come up. Nobody knew anything. They didn't see anything, nothing. So then from there it went to $1,000, and I think it got up to $2,000 that they were offering for any information for the baby. The couple did bring up a few things that had happened 2 months before, when they brought this up to the police, saying maybe this could have something to do with the disappearance of Nima. Their dog was found dead. Yeah. And they find out that he was poisoned.
What?
Yeah. And around a few days later, after the dog was poisoned, somebody broke in, vandalized their house. They ransacked it. Yes. And then they took pictures of Nima, and they were spread around in the yard.
They didn't tell the police?
Yeah, but they didn't tell them at the time.
That's what I'm saying. Did he file a police report?
Apparently not. So they were thrown in the yard and...
What?
Yeah. I have no idea. So Oklahoma's police said no, that they didn't believe that there was a connection. They were like, no.
What?
They were like, they had nothing to do with one or the other.
Throw everybody away in this case already.
No, it gets worse. So at this point, around a month has passed. They're looking everywhere for her. They can't find Nima, and nothing is leading to anything. They're just running around and trying to find her. So in 1977, there's no DNA, there's no advances. They can't take technology. They can't, no fingerprints and stuff like that. After a month of being missing, there were some children. So apparently the way that the place was set up was that they had a lot of abandoned houses. So all the abandoned houses were like
in the neighborhood.
So all the abandoned houses were kind of like sporadic in the area, in the little town. So some children, and they had gone into the abandoned house to play around and I guess open stuff. And it is known that the kids would do that often. They would go play in these abandoned houses. I guess that's something you would do when you were little. I don't know if I would go into somebody else's house. I don't know. I would be scared. But I'm scared of everything. So there's cabinets, everything, and they go to open the fridge, and out tumbles the body of Nima. Yes, the 19-month-old that they had been looking for about a month.
So were these houses in the neighborhood or just in the town?
This house was only a few blocks away from her house.
Okay.
She was still wearing her red shirt and her little diaper that she was wearing when she disappeared. And see, the thing is, the kids got scared.
Oh, yeah.
So they ran.
Oh, duh.
And they didn't tell anybody.
Oh.
Yeah. So they left the body out in front of the fridge.
As it tumbled out.
They got scared. I mean, they didn't know what it was. Now, you remember these old-ass fridges that were, like, really popular in the 70s, and they were really big, and they had big-ass doors? I don't know. You probably don't remember, but you've seen them.
Probably. It has, like, a thicker handle.
And then you would lock it.
Yes.
So this is what the fridge was, one of those white ones, and there was, like,
it's not really, like, actually, like, square lines.
No, it's kind of like a
round.
circle. Yeah. Andale. So I guess that when you have to be really like trying to open. It wasn't like the baby was going to be able to push the door open. Like you have to be strong to be able to open those latches because se atranca. Not too long after that, maybe about a day or two, a soldier from Fort Sill that was at his friend's house, he was washing his laundry and he was just kind of wandering around waiting for his laundry to dry. And he also went into the abandoned house. I don't know if this was a thing. I don't know. But thankfully he did, because that's when finally Nima's body was found. She was only 4 blocks away from her home. So he ran back and told his friend.
I'm here like, okay, you guys searched for her, but you didn't search for her 4 blocks away from her fucking house?
Exactly. So they contacted the police. He did go back and tell his friend, hey, I found this, and they contacted police. So the police determined that the body of Nima was stuffed inside the fridge shortly after her abduction. So she was actually alive in there, and she was left to suffocate. Yeah. And the cause of death was asphyxiation. The weird thing was that they had already gone to check this house at least twice. And both of the times, one time the door was open, the second time the door was locked. So they didn't think about looking in there because they had already searched there.
But they went back for a reason.
Yeah, I guess kind of just to circle the same. I mean, it's 4 blocks. Like, how far could the baby go? I'm guessing.
No. I get that. But if you went back one time and te said it was fine, and then I guess if you went back a second time and it was locked, you were like, okay, well, we already searched in there anyway. So I guess it doesn't, why would we try to go in there again?
I don't know. But apparently that's what they tried. Once they let their family know that, that they had found the body, and then... Well, this is when the real investigation started. So the case kind of reminded the area of something that had happened about a year ago. So a year ago on April the 6th, something like this kind of eerily similar happened.
So in 1976?
Yes. There was a 3-year-old twin sisters, Tina and Mary Carpenter. Not Carpenter, but Carpenter, like a pitcher. And they were lured out of their house and into an abandoned home as well. Their story tells that the girls were playing outside and their grandma was watching them, but she went inside to go do some chores. Kind of like,
real
hey,
quick,
let's go inside because, I'm going to go, voy a barrer o lo que sea. All of a sudden, the little girls disappear. Apparently, they were abducted, obviously, from their house, right? So I think it was like 2 days later. I want to say it was 2 days later. Yeah, 2 days later, the girls were actually discovered by a group of kids that were playing in an abandoned home. And it so happens that when they were around there, they heard someone screaming. So they run over to see who it was. And one of the little girls was actually breathing through a little bitty crack of the side of the fridge. And she was crying for help.
In a fridge too?
In the fridge too.
What the fuck? So,
they opened the door. The kids were like, let's open the door. At least they, went that far. And then suddenly Tina fell through. And then she was crying for help. And when they looked, and her little sister, Mary, did not make it.
Her little sister, her twin sister?
Her twin sister. Well, her sister did not make it. So Mary was deceased.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know why Mary didn't get close to the air, but they were 3.5.
But it's not even that. I mean, I guess I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, did the fridge have racks? Like maybe...
No, there was no racks. They had pictures of...
there.
Yeah, it was just literally there.
I mean, I'm thinking fridge, right? Mm-hmm. I think solamente cabe una unless you like crouch down to know to crouch on top of each other.
Pero si estaban chiquitas.
That's what I'm saying. But if you're 3, like how are you going to know? And it's not like they can be like...
that's what I'm saying. Like, how are they going to know, hey, let me get my sister here so she can breathe? Like, that's
what I'm saying. There's no way. But the fact that one of them managed to do... Ay, pobrecita, just thinking about it just breaks my heart. Okay, I don't want to picture them. Okay, go.
Yeah. So, that's why I told you.
Yeah.
So then Tina was able, which is Tina, the one that survived, when she came out, the kids asked her, who did this to you? What happened? And whenever she was asked, she said, Jackie put us in here.
Who the fuck is Jackie?
Hold on. So she kept saying Jackie Boo or Jackie Burr. Like Jackie Burr or Jackie Boo because she's 3.5. So they couldn't understand the name. So they kept asking her. And then finally they call her grandparents or whatever it was. The police was called. And they figured that they connected the dots to there's babysitter, which her name is Jackie Robideau. It's R-O... I can't say it. It's really hard to say. It's like Jackie Robideau, the 16-year-old neighbor. She was their neighbor, and she would sometimes help babysit the girls because they would stay with their grandma. So their grandma would kind of be like, I need to go to the store. So she would let,
just call the 16-year-old next door and be like, hey, can you watch Las Niñas or whatever while I go do
blah, the reason that they knew each other was because Jackie was friends with the girl's aunt.
Okay.
Yeah. So when they questioned Tina, they told them exactly what happened. Mind you, she's 3.5. Yeah. So she said that when she was in the house with her sister, they were playing, and that Jackie...
But they were playing outside in the yard or something?
Yeah, they were in the yard. Okay. Y luego su abuelita les dijo, no, we're going inside because tengo que ponerme a barrer or whatever. And so they took inside, and she said that when they were playing, that Jackie came in to the house y se la llevó.
Oh, so they actually did go inside the house.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Jackie went into the house. Well, after they were playing the grandma outside, the grandma said, let's go inside because I can't keep an eye on you because I'm going to be
inside.
Cleaning. Yeah, inside. So se las llevó and they were watching TV. Y dice la niña que Jackie went into the house y se las llevó.
And la grandma no se dio cuenta.
La grandma no se dio cuenta. So, porque la conocían, she was probably like, come on. And the grandma was vacuuming.
Yeah.
So, a lo mejor no dio,
escuchó.
Whatever. So, se las llevó y dice que ella las puso en el fridge.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So, she said that they were told by Jackie because she was crying and saying, why are we in here?
Yeah.
Dice que le dijo, Jackie, wait here. Your aunt is going to be here to take you for ice cream. Y luego le cerró la puerta y las dejó. To die, basically.
What the fuck?
Duraron las niñas 2 días ahí metidas, Estela.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they started to wait, and then they're like, well, obviously
not even that. I bet you even if they were telling you, even if they knew Jackie and she's like, okay, just wait here. Anyway, being in the fridge, I don't care if I know you, I'm gonna be scared.
Yeah. Not only that, she she goes on to say that the only reason that she found that there was a hole in the fridge was because le entraba la luz.
Yeah.
De por allí. Pero su sister was not, she was struggling a lot. So su sister she passed away. So at the edge of the fridge is donde estaba la little agujerito. I guess como la entrada or something.
Maybe the seal wasn't like working right or whatever.
I mean, a lot of people speculate que por qué Mary no se acercó, but once we were just talking about that, like...
They're three,
dude. ¿Cómo es que ella va a pensar, okay, I need you to come over here to breathe, you know? So, I mean, that was one of the biggest speculations people, you know, in the internet. So they did. They brought Jackie in. They brought Jackie back and said, hey...
What's going on?
But she didn't really say much. She was like, I don't know. She just kept denying, and she was looking down, and she didn't give him any information. So they didn't really have a lot of evidence. Besides what the three baby girl was saying. So they couldn't use, according to the prosecutor, they couldn't use her testimony, or it wasn't reliable.
Yeah.
On for a trial, or to press any charges. Yeah. Not only that, but one of the neighbors, her name is Thelma McCaig, that was around the house when she saw Jackie grabbing the girls.
Oh, there was a witness.
Said que she was tugging them. Y se las llevaba fuerza. And then they were going towards the abandoned house, but nobody tried to stop her. Yeah.
Well, también, like you said, yeah.
She said that Jackie had hold of the girl's wrist y que las niñas se estiraban para salir, que no quería que se las llevaran. And
she didn't say anything?
And she didn't say anything. She said she didn't want to get involved.
Let's take a quick break.
Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser! He's gonna shoot!
Oi! Shot fired! Shots fired!
Stay out! You gotta go on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
You're a grown-ass person and you don't want to get involved with the 16-year-old and 3-year-old?
And not only that, but her husband is a volunteer firefighter for the area, so I don't know. So after a while...
Throw everybody away, I'm telling you.
They didn't really, give her any charges. They let her go because there was nothing for them to go about. So people started kind of stop talking about it and everything like that. So Jackie wasn't prosecuted or done anything, or they were still, I guess... investigating, and she started babysitting again. And guess what?
She was a babysitter.
She was the babysitter for Nima. So now, I don't know if Nima parents knew about this. Like, sabían que la niña o la muchacha andaba haciendo estas vergadas. I don't know.
But like you said, it had happened, I guess, by this point. Well, I don't know when she started babysitting again, but let's say que pasó un año. Because by the time lo que pasó lo de Nima, it was like a year and a half. Pasado lo de las girls. So if they're like, well, they didn't do anything, or a lo mejor no hizo nada because they didn't press any charges on her or anything like that. So a lo mejor, like you said, se les olvidó, and they're like, oh, we need a babysitter.
And they had just moved in. Remember that I mentioned at the beginning? I mean, maybe they didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So they had no idea that Nima was a primary suspect, but she was still taking care of Nima, the primary suspect in the death of Mary, and
what happened with Tina?
Yeah, with Tina. And it was even said that Nima really liked Jackie, and her parents would say that when she walked in, she would run to her, and she was happy to see her.
Well, yeah, she was 19 months.
Yeah. With all of this coming out, and now obviously Nima had been found dead, and it was kind of in a similar way. So the girls, as they left the girls to die, so then they started looking a little bit closer into Jackie and what she was doing the night of the 31st. Jackie was at the corner store, which the corner store is just a block away, like in frente. And she was in front of the Carter's house. And while there, the clerk said that she walked in, and she had a few words with George, which is Nima's dad, afuera de la corner store. So she said that when she walked in, she was very upset because apparently she wanted to go play bingo, because that was something that they would do, I guess, for Halloween. She needed to play bingo. And so...
You're 16 and you want to play bingo? I mean, that's cool and all, but it's just, I wouldn't think of it.
So she got upset while she was there because she tells the clerk that she had George and... I guess talked with her, and he was told that he wanted her to babysit that night. But she said que no because she wanted to go to bingo.
Yeah, which is fine. You can say no.
So then,
you want to go play bingo, go play bingo.
And then when she, I guess, talked to him again about it, he said, no, we have another babysitter.
Okay.
So ella se enojó por eso.
Wait. Well, you couldn't do it?
So, dice que, I'm not sure cómo le dijo el señor. Like, no sé si le dijo, oh, you're being irresponsible, or no sé cómo fue la interaction, porque ella estaba bien enojada. Because of that, the clerk was mentioning that to the police. Pero she was like, I don't know if he was like, oh, well, you know.
Maybe you're not going to
be babysit anymore, or whatever. I don't know.
Or if you don't do this job, or, you know, quién sabe.
I mean, apparently she was very upset, and she said that George told her something about, this is your job, you know, como...
Everybody needs to calm down.
Yeah, for real. So that kind of gave them a motive as well for Nima's death, you know, for them to go after her and question her again. So they once again brought her in for questioning, and once again they brought up the similarities between both cases and what happened to the girls and what happened to Nima. And she tells the detective, no, they're not similar cases. They have nothing to do with each other.
Bitch, what are you talking about? You babysat both of them.
Yep.
They were both found inside fridges, inside abandoned homes. Mm-hmm. And they're both kids. What's not similar about that? Who else to be doing that? Do you see that on the news often?
Maybe back in Oklahoma in 1977 they did, but not me. So she said that she told the detectives that she was out playing bingo that night, and the night of the disappearance of Nima. And she did bring up the fact that she was very upset because everybody would be playing bingo and that she was asked to babysit, but she said she didn't babysit. So
why are you upset? Just, you said no. That's fine.
The detectives, guess what? Didn't have anything to charge Jackie with.
No,
they didn't have enough. Or with the murder of Nima, they had nothing to go based on. You know, based on...
At least Tina, like, yes, she was able to say, hey. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pero Nima, she was 19 months.
Yeah. Not only that, but she was dead.
Yeah.
So how, like, Tina was lucky enough to get out.
Or survive.
I'm pretty sure that she probably thought that they were both going to die. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yeah. So.
I mean, if it was her, allegedly, we don't know.
So at this time, they felt like they had enough to pursue charges for Jackie and the murder of Mary Ann, which is Mary and Tina. And so well, apparently they were like, well, we have enough. They had enough people that had seen her around the girls, all these other things.
Because of what happened to Nima, they were able to go back.
I know, exactly. I guess they reopened the case. It was never closed. Remember? Never closed. And so according to Oklahoma PD, they were like, okay, we got this. We're going to take her to court or to trial. It took 2 years after her being in jail for them to start the trial. 2 years. They had her in jail sitting there.
Oh, yeah, but she's 16, so I'm sure her parents had to get involved, and she was a minor, and they probably couldn't release her name.
That was one of the biggest problems. They were having trouble. They didn't know if they wanted to try to pursue as a minor, because by this time she was 19.
Yeah, but at the time of the offenses, she was a minor. So.
Yeah, she was a minor, so they didn't know if they were going to do that. And apparently somebody mentioned in one of the things I researched that she had a baby.
You couldn't find more information on it?
No, I couldn't. There was no information about, like, only one place that I read that she had a baby, apparently. I don't know.
We don't even know how accurate that is.
I'd have no idea. I wouldn't bet on it. And so it took them 2 years. So by October 19th of 1979, she was charged with first-degree murder of the death of Mary Carpenter.
Wait, hold on. I guess I'm confused. Take her to trial or actually be able to press charges on her?
Press charges.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were able to press charges. Maybe I didn't say that right. I apologize.
Yeah. I guess they did an investigation for 2 years, and then they had enough information to press charges on her.
They were going to press charges on the murder of Mary and the attempted murder of Tina. Mind you, not of Nima. Yeah. They didn't, according to Oklahoma PD, they didn't have enough to charge her with Nima's murder.
But the only reason why you went back to look into the twin sis case was because of what happened to Nima.
Exactly. Yep. Eventually, like I said, she was trialed as an adult. I read in 2 places that when she was like in jail, she would be like, oh yeah, that I did that and I'm going to get away with it.
But you're in jail.
Well, according to her. So the key witness of the trial was Tina, as we know. They were questioning her again because of her involvement and what she could say, because she was 3 at the time. But they were really adamant about how every time they would ask her the question, she would say the exact same story.
She never changed her story.
Like, she never changed it. Y también, like, they took her to a psychologist. They rehearsed with her. Like, they were like, okay, are you sure about this? She was sure that she wanted to say what happened to, and she would recall the same thing every time.
Yeah.
So because not only did she have to tell the cops, she had to tell her family. Like, she had to, you imagine, like, reliving that every time? Like, I can't imagine, pobrecita. So this is what she said. She said that, where was I? She said that, and I quote, she took us to a house. It was white, near railroad tracks. There were broken furniture pieces inside. And then when we got inside, she took us to the refrigerator and told us to get in. And told us that we were going to wait for our aunt, and she was going to come back for us and get us ice cream later. And then she shut the door and left, end quote. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, poor Tina, she had to testify again, and she had to so this thing kind of went on for a while, because they had so many people. I think they had upwards of like 75 witnesses or something like that. I don't know, like people giving statements and stuff like that. I mean, this was like a big trial that happened in Oklahoma or in Lawton. But in 1983, she was found guilty for the murder, and she was sentenced to life in prison. Mm-hmm. So Jacqueline, actually, guess what? While she was in jail, she died in 2005 of cirrhosis of the liver at the age of 46 in the Mabel Bassett Correctional Center in Mount Cloud, Oklahoma. But she never confessed. She never said that she had done anything to Nima. And until this day, Nima's murder is still not solved. There is nobody has been charged with her murder.
Is this case still open?
The case is still open. Yep. So there was an interview with George, which is Nima's father, in 2007, and George said that he didn't actually believe that Jackie could have been able to do something like that to his daughter. He said that there was no way, that she really liked my daughter, basically saying that she wouldn't do that. I guess he was kind of not wanting to believe it. And he said, I don't think that anybody would be cruel enough to kill an innocent little girl. Not only that, he also said that, he didn't believe it was Jackie, basically. Unfortunately, Rose did pass away in 2000 before she even found out if they were going to find the killer of Nima, her daughter. George also mentions that he does feel guilty because he feels like they should have gotten up to go see why she was crying, and maybe they wouldn't have taken Nima.
Okay, why would he not think it's not Jackie? I'm confused.
I mean, I felt the same way. I don't know. I feel like, obviously we know who did it, but they're, according to everything, I wonder, well, now she's dead. Obviously they can't do nothing about that. But I mean, do they still I wonder if they still try to close these cases everybody's dead and, you don't, because I've heard a lot of cases that they still close even though the people are dead, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know why there hasn't been any changes in anything. Another thing is that he is unfortunately a recovering alcoholic, and he feels like maybe he would have been able to avoid doing that if he would have had his daughter. He actually they had another little girl, and they would tell her about her little sister very often, and her older sister. Oh, I said little sister. Her older sister, and they would go and visit her grave as often as they could. He said that he wished that he would have spent more time with her instead of going out drinking and having a good time. So it's still an open case. So if you have any information about the abduction and murder of Nima Louise Carter, please contact the Lawton Police Department at 581-3500. And that is the case of Nima Louise Carter.
That's crazy.
I think that a lot of things failed Nima.
Everybody sucked.
Everybody. Like, the fact that if somebody's like crying, trying to get away from somebody, can we please be human and be like, hey, are you okay? Like, do you need any
Especially
help?
if you're an adult and you see a 16-year-old little two 3-year-olds. I'm like, hey, what's going on?
Like, are you okay? Like, why are you so angry? Because it was like they were, based on what I read, it was like she was stomping. Like, ellas se querían como
soltar de
zafar. Yeah. So, and I feel like, I don't know. To be honest, this story was crazy to me. I felt like poor Nima didn't even get justice.
They both had one person in common, and it was Jackie.
Yeah, of course.
Unless there's other information that they're not releasing.
Unfortunately,
did anybody else pass away meanwhile they were trying to investigate Jackie?
Like, maybe what about anybody dying the same way when she was in jail? Like,
exactly. Well, obviously, after what happened to Nima, nobody wanted to hire her as a babysitter.
I think hopefully they wouldn't, but I don't know, to be honest. And I feel like, it seemed like she had a little bit of a troubled childhood herself. Her grandmother, I think, her mom, I think, tried to tell the grandma de las twins to sign this paper that said that Jackie didn't have anything to do with it. Like, they were trying, I don't know, they were trying, I guess, to make her get away with it, or I don't know.
No, but they did for a while.
They did. And unfortunately, she did pass away. And
that's not unfortunate.
Well, yeah, you're right. It's not unfortunate. And I don't understand. But my deal is, like, did she get in a fight with, like, okay, Nima, she got mad because she was like,
whatever happened between
her and George.
Yeah.
But then why the twins though?
Yeah.
Like, was she mad because the twins were like just randomly go in there and take them?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, why would she just go in there? What was the motive for the twins?
I have no idea.
I don't know. That's crazy.
That is the case of Nima Louise Carter. So if you would like to let us know what you think, please send us a message or leave us a message. And if you'd like to follow us on Instagram, we are at
Cafecito and Crime Pod.
Download the episode. Let us know how we're doing. Leave us a review. And let us know what we should do next.
Yeah.
All right. I hope everyone has a wonderful night, day, whatever you're doing. And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.